Okay, right, this is the front of the tank. Right, a little bit, I'm trying not to chuck the camera around too fast. It's only an iPhone, so the colour looks well off. I don't know why the iPhone's seeing it so blue, it's not, it's whiter. Anyway, the sand's quite, so you can't even see the sand. Right, it's completely upset the phone, right, but the sand is quite fine. There's my SBS there. They have quite a high calcium demand, so I would start, personally, this clan, with something like, ACAMS, your Monty Porers, some of the other LPS, I can't remember what that one's called. These are Scully Meyer. That, a purple Cassidy Porer, that's quite hard, and that's an SPS we can start with. Various brain corals, but generally all the brain corals are pretty easy to keep. And again, Trachyphilia, which is also known as a brain coral, which you can't really see because this phone's going absolutely AY. There we go. And obviously all the SPS, which I would wait for you to tank the set off. I've got some horrible fluffy red algae there to work on. All your SPS corals are up the top, in the most light, hopefully growing away and not dying. Okay, right. Now, I'll take the doors off the system so you can see. I'll start from the beginning. Now, this is where my pipework comes through the bottom of the tank. It's complex, I designed it, I know how it works. Two twin standpipes that are balanced, which you won't have to worry about because the Red Sea's all set up anyway, run into this section there, over into these filter phones, which I have to keep clean, to clean them out once a week, sort of going biological, into an algae, it's hard to see, an algae section, which again has got this bloody horrible red algae in it. There is quite a bit of Chaetomorpha in there, but you can't really see it. There's the Chaetomorpha there. So that's your algae section. It runs into my skimmer section there, and that skimmer is fed by, it's difficult to see, see that blue ball valve in the centre, that comes down from the wheel, it feeds it, and then that water runs back into that section where it gets filtered again, so you don't get no bits come from the top of the tank down through the skimmer and dumped into this section that's going to make its way back. Coral that's not particularly well. Right, so then it goes from the skimmer section. The heaters, by the way, are over the back. You can't see them because they're under water. Right, it's going to get shiggy. In this section here is my Raufoss reactor. See it simmering away in there gently. Okay. Right, and that, and there, in this section, it's the feed pump to the Raufoss, and also you've got in there, just in there, is my return pump, which returns water along that long pipe. You can't really see it, back up into those pipes up the top, and you run through my weir back over and into my tank. This is my calcium reactor. As you can see, it's sat outside the sun. And this little job here is just a homemade degas chamber that just runs through, gives it a bit extra pep. That is run by two D&D Perry pumps up there, Jim Turney, and we've got YP, so they drag water out of the sump, through the calcium reactor, and then through this job that I've made, out you go, and that goes back into the sump. Right, I'm going to stop this and then make another video to finish complete part 2. Okay, there's my calcium reactor part, so that's calcium reactor. Now, I control my calcium reactor, let's put a light on it. Okay, I control my calcium reactor with this aquarium computer. Now, you don't really necessarily need that. Okay, I use it because I've got it. I've got a little pH probe pH in this, and I can adjust it to about 6.2. I think I've got pH set, and then it just automatically injects gas from a solenoid. What's coming this little job here? It's bobbling up. And when the pH is down far enough, the solenoid cuts off, it stops dosage CO2, and waits the pH to rise. Then that computer then cuts back in when it's risen and brings it back down and keeps it at an locally internal pH to start to break down this media. Now I'm going to clean this media out today and wash it, because you can see it's broken down over time. It's got a bit milky inside. That's a non-fluidising medium that I use. Delta is fluidising medium. Okay, so we have that's Vortec is the power air controller, that's the power controller, and that's the power air controller, and that's the Tunze power air controller in the corner. Plug bars from my computer, switch things on and off, and a homemade plug board there, all my bits of equipment on it. It's now pretty full up, but they're not drawing a great deal of power. They're just small things, so they're not overloading the plug board. Hopefully not, because if there's a fire and there'll be no more tank. Okay, so that's basically that now. I may do a part 3 here, because we're going to go outside in a sec and show you outside. Also, I've got no pellet reactor on this. I don't feel the need. I don't find the need for it, because my nitrate's kept pretty stable. So yeah, that's about it. The protein skimmer is picking up quite a bit of muck, so that's good. Okay, right, we're going to move outside. Just before we move outside, you can see there's a hole in my wall, or 3 holes in my wall. One, a pump. Can't really see it in the sun. But see that clear pipe? That feeds water out of the hole, out to the outside through that union there. And this to the left, this pipe, the water falls back in to the sump. So that's an in and out. The centre one there runs all my cables, my water top up, and all that sort of thing outside. Okay. So that's what the hole's for, that's what those pipes are for. This, when we get outside you'll find out, but this helps me when it comes to water change. I don't have to lift buckets around inside the house. Auto top ups outside, RO units outside. Only problem is, or what you'll find out is in the winter, where the temperature, cold weather gets to everything, but there we go. I'm going to stop the video now and have a part 4. Keep adding parts, sorry about that, but it helps break these things up. Just before we move outside, is another quick thing about power heads. I've got a few. I've got 2 MP40s, about 13,000 litre pumps on the left side of the tank. So a little trip down the right side of the tank. I'll set the camera completely. And I have here another MP40 and a Tunze that's covered in muck. So I've got to clean. This horrible candy floss algae I bought in on the algae that's in my sump, and it's made it to the tank. Some kind guy donated some algae, also donated some nuisance algae, which is quite handy, but there you go. But anyway, there's my weir, water drops over my weir, and these are my return pipes that run up through my weir from the return pump into the tank. On this tank, that pump is a 12,000 litre pump. We're only pumping about 8,000 litres up to the tank. Okay, while we're just at the top here, here's my light units, my LED light units up there. I've got too many up there really, but I've got a massive thick brace pole in the centre, so the centre one isn't really doing a great deal. And I had some spare ones, so I put more than I need up and just reduce the power to give more spread. So that's it. Oh, and there's the fans behind to help keep the water cool. Same my chiller coming in, and that's run also by the aquarium computer. Okay, pretty her. And now we shall go outside. Okay, this is where all the water goes, outside. And what do we have here? see pipe running from inside the house out. That's all insulated. Two pipes, and the centre one, of course, is all the top up water and wiring and all that gubbins. Okay, so what we got? This pipe. Where are we now? It's a bit complex. This pipe. Where are we? This pipe runs through, back, down, into the inside of the chiller. That's that runs in there. Runs out, up, into the UV. And there's the feet I'm on about. There's a void in the centre. That's how they screw on. That's on the backboard. This I've just put on there for the insulated. And there's the other foot at the other end. And it runs out. Keep the voice down. No think I'm mad. Mad enough as it is. That one's out to that, and then this is where it gets complex. These three wall valves there, they control, let's get this in focus, they control the flow to this big vat. So what I can do, that's the outflow back to the tank. So what I can do, I can either shut these two valves and it bypasses this completely. That runs back to the tank that way. If I'm draining this down, the chiller can keep running because it just bypasses back to the tank. Runs through the chiller, runs through the UV, back to the tank. Great stuff. When I'm not on bypass from this, I shut that valve and balance these two valves so I get just the right amount of flow. And then that runs, that's my drain from this thing back to the tank. So when I want to do a water change, basically it's, I open that, shut these off, and everything's on there. And then open this, this job, and the water drains out of that butt to a drain that's behind there. So, just to give you a little clue what's going on in this thing, and not keeping dead bodies in. There you go. It's my water change, but that's always running until I do a water change. Down here, this is a little storm flat I've made just in case water gets in during a really bad one. There's my RO unit, pressure pump. RO unit, it's down there, out of the way. Just where I can't get to it. The DI pods I've placed out here, or two, so at least I can get to those and change the DI resin quickly. The reason for that is I use two, is just to make sure the water's well polished. Okay, and this little tub is my RO top off. So that is a float valve. When this fills up, the float valve shuts off and stops to RO. When my RO top up calls for it, it shoves water, there's a pump in it, it shoves water up that pipe into the aquarium, float valve in the sump. And the sump is at the right level, it shuts this pump off. But what I've had to do is put a little anti-siphon thing in here on the pipe, because what was happening is it was initiating in the water flow. If the sump level was down there, well, it would just keep siphoning this bucket down until it reaches the level of the sump. So I put it like anti-siphon hole in there, but that's something else. But yeah, so that's the way this is set up. So I haven't run it during the winter yet, so we're going to see this is pretty well insulated. But we'll see how warm this keeps. And also I've got a pump and a heater in there, so when I do my water changes I can warm it up before it goes online. And that is basically that outside. What fun, eh? That is where you get UV tuning up. That's where the UV comes from. So you really, on this I'll just unscrew it, lift it up and slide it outside. But you need to put this somewhere else. You need to take it out to change the tube, or you have some access this end so you can take it out. You can have the unit horizontally or vertical, it's not really a problem. But yeah, that's the hose tails you've got. There's a straight one I put on there. They come with bent, 90-degree bend on it. I'll put a straight one. This is my pipe work. There's a 3/4 inch thread on there, by the way. But